Hey guys, what's up? Today I'll be reviewing the remaster of The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. This is the very first time this game has ever received an official localization outside Japan. Now, I first played this game on the PSP a long time ago, but didn't really finish it until 2 years ago with a mediocre fan translation. Originally, this game was released on PC and PSP, only in Japan. Later it got a PS Vita remaster, only in Japan once again. So this is the first time after so many damn years that we're getting an official release of this game outside of Japan, which is a great thing because, to be completely honest for you right from the start, this is a strongly recommended game that I've actually recommended several times in the past before in previous videos and top 10s and whatnot. So before we get into the positives and negatives, one thing you need to know is that for some reason NIS of America, the people who localize this game, they decided to release two different versions, one for the PS4 and one for the Switch and Steam. The PS4 is based on the old PS4 remaster that stayed in Japan, whereas the Switch and the Steam versions are the remaster version of the remaster. I know it's very confusing, but let me put it this way. Ironically and very surprisingly, the Switch version is superior to the PS4 version. Oh yeah, it's usually the other way around, I know that, so it's pretty shocking. But to be completely honest with you, I played the PS4 version and it looked fantastic. Graphically speaking, the visuals look great. It looks amazing, no frame rate issues, no resolution, nothing, it's just an amazing remaster. So unless you are a graphic snob, you won't care that much about this, the PS4 version is fine and that's the one I recommend. But if you really care that much and want to get the better version, I guess the PC version is the one to go, and then the Switch and then the PS4, but honestly all versions are just as great. Switch and PC versions just look graphically better a little bit, but I think most people won't be able to tell the difference unless you see the pictures side by side the way I am showing them right now. So if this, what you're seeing right now, matters that much to you, then yeah, sure, go for the Switch or PC versions. First, let's start with the positives of this game. This is Trails from Zero, a game where you play as Lloyd Bannings, a brand new graduate from the police academy who's now an official detective, police detective. He goes back then to Crossbell City where he was born in and gets recruited to a new force called the Special Support Section. This is a section that's pretty much made by the police department to compete against the Bracer Guild. The Bracer Guild is pretty famous in the Trail series. They're a bunch of warriors who look out for people and protect people and do everything for the people. However, this very same special support section slowly starts finding out that there's a possible war brewing slowly in Crossbell City and that the mafia is involved, so it'll be their job to find out through police investigations, which is a little part of the gameplay mechanics and plot-wise related events, to find out what the hell is going on and possibly stop the war. So yeah, as you've heard, this is not your average JRPG plot with the 16-year-old childhood friends who live a peaceful village and embrace the entire world in order to save it. This is pretty much a mature plot for adults, It does have a lot of mature and adult topics in there, but it also has a lot of sense of humor, a lot of comedy and fan service and whatnot. Now, this game is a traditional style JRPG, not 100% traditional. I mean, you do go from town to town, but you'll always come back to the major town, which is the city of Crossbell, which is also the place where your base of operation lies, most of the shops, the inns, the hotels, etc. But you still got your overworld exploration between towns. You can see the enemies on the field, so you can dodge them if you want to, if you don't want to get into a fight. But if you do, well, the combat is turn-based. However, this isn't your average turn-based. As you can see, you can move around in really small grids to position your characters this or there. But the truth is, for regular enemies, you will mostly be doing just attacks or regular magic attacks just to get the battles done quickly. This strategic feel is more used during the boss battles. So it has some really small strategic elements to it, but it's just traditional style turn-based, You got your skills and your magic and your normal attacks, So it's a very traditional style turn-based RPG, just with a little bit of, original features to spice things up a little. This is what makes this game stand out a little bit more over your average turn-based JRPG. So it's not really what you could call a deep or complex system, thankfully, it's pretty easy to understand, very traditional, simple yet effective. The music in this game is badass. This is a Falcom RPG, so of course the music team led by Hayato Sonora is gotta be amazing. Trails from Zero, like any Trails game out there, and you probably already know this, is a very heavily story-driven RPG. That means you'll be reading walls of text, tons of dialogue over and over again. However, this is an excellent story-driven RPG, which means the majority of the story beats and the dialogue you'll read, it's pretty interesting, and even the comedic parts are, pretty damn funny, and there's a lot of heartwarming scenes and heartbreaking scenes, so it's an excellent story. I don't see any reason why you should skip the story. But if you want to do that, well, there's a new feature added in this remaster, and that is the high-speed mode, which I absolutely loved. The high-speed mode pretty much lets you fast-forward everything, dialogue, exploration, combat, and for combat it's amazing because this is a game that it's turn-based, and I love turn-based like many of you, but in this particular game, some turn-based battles can be a little bit slower than usual, so this fast-forward option, it's great, especially because of the grinding, because this is a game that it's pretty balanced. It's challenging, but it's not hard, it's not easy either, it's pretty damn balanced. But there's something you need to know that is extremely important, and that is the fact that you cannot change the difficulty during the game. At the very beginning, you'll be asked to choose if you want to play on easy, normal, hard, or not nightmare, I think. And you won't be able to change it ever again. So I strongly suggest you play this game on normal, because on easy, it's too easy, and on hard, I think it's too hard. You'll be fine with normal, trust me, I beat the game twice on the PSP years ago, and now on this remaster, and I was fine. Especially now, because you can just fast forward the battles. I'm the type of gamer who usually ignores half of the enemies out there, and if I get into trouble with a boss battle, I just go back and grind like what many of you guys do. But in this game, I killed everything on screen. I killed every single enemy, and that helped me grind a lot faster. Sessions that took me 2 years ago on the PSP version, about an hour of grinding, in here they were just like 5 minutes, because you kill everything so fast and so quick. That is just an amazing feature to have, it greatly reduces the grinding in this game. Overall, this is an amazing JRPG, and to be completely honest with you, there's only one bad thing to say about it, and that's a very personal thing. Well, here we go. This game is based on a translation done by a fan group called Geofront, not the same one used for the first PSP version. That one is fairly mediocre. Now, this Geofront translation has been praised by the Trails community and by gamers worldwide, and I have no problem with that, it's a great translation, but I do believe that they took a lot of liberties. This game does not come with English dub. It doesn't have English voice acting. You're stuck with the Japanese voice actors, with the Japanese dub and the English text. And because of that, there are several occasions during dialogue you can clearly hear the voice actor saying something that does not match what's written in the text box. Let's take Lloyd for example, he does this reaction quite often, like and a lot of the times they add an entire sentence, and it's like, why? We clearly heard the actor say nothing. Why are you translating that into a whole freaking sentence? Fortunately, nothing is out of context, they just say whatever that represents or translates to. But it's just a nitpick of mine, I wish these localizations were more faithful to the original source. Even if the Japanese actors are just saying one word that doesn't make a lot of sense, just leave it like that, don't change it into something Americanized or Westernized, that kind of pisses me off. Finally, before we end this review, there is something that I think you should know, something crucial and very, very important. A lot of Trails fans will disagree with this, but I'm pretty sure a lot of other Trails fans will definitely agree with me when I say that it is absolutely indispensable, in my opinion, to play the Trails in the Sky trilogy first. The Trails series are all connected, and they take place in the exact same continent of Zemuria. And Trails from Zero is a direct sequel to Trails in the Sky 1, 2, and 3. I can't stress out this enough, because Estelle and Joshua, the main characters of the Trails in the Sky trilogy, are back in here, and they are very important characters, and their whole arc is based on spoilers of the previous trilogy. So if you play this game before playing the Trails in the Sky trilogy, you'll be spoiled vastly. The way I see it, Trails in the Sky doesn't end until this game, until Trails from Zero. So once again, just my opinion, I strongly suggest you play Trails in the Sky first, the 3 games, all 3 of them, before jumping into Trails from Zero. Unless you want to be spoiled, you have been warned. Where to play Trails in the Sky? Well, you can play them on Steam, all 3 of them. You can play the first 2 on the PSP, the third one is exclusive on Steam, or you can play the fan-translated versions of all 3 of them on the PlayStation Vita or PS3. That's all guys, Trails from Zero, amazing game. I wish I could call it a masterpiece, but I think this is a game that needs its sequel to be called a masterpiece. It's Trails from Zero and Trails from Azure, which we'll be getting next year. And if we combine these 2 games, if we see them as just one game cut into 2 parts, this is a masterpiece. Separately, however amazing Trails from Zero is, it needs its sequel. So I hope you guys can play this game. Switch, PS4, PC, PSP, wherever you want to play it. I hope you play it. This is a strongly recommended game. And let's all look forward next year for its sequel, Trails from Azure. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time!